What's going on, Knicks fans? In today's show, we've got some rumors surrounding Carmelo Anthony. So if you love Melo, 3 to the dome, simple. Go down and type number 7 in the comment section right now. What's going on, guys? Welcome into New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. And in today's show, we're going to talk about the latest rumors surrounding our New York Knicks. First, we'll talk about Carmelo Anthony. Mark Berman had a report about him. And then on the tail end of the show, I saw a trade suggestion by NBA Analysis that the Knicks had landed Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We'll break that down at the back end of the show. But first, let's talk about our guy Hoodie Melo, 3 to the dome. Mark Berman of the NY Post, he reported that the Knicks have had internal conversations about signing Carmelo Anthony and NBA free agency. And this isn't the first time. If you remember before this season, Carmelo was deciding between signing with the Los Angeles Lakers and the New York Knicks, It came down to the wire, and he chose the Los Angeles Lakers because he said and believed at the time that they were in a position better to win a championship. And I mean, that makes sense. You had LeBron James, the Knicks, they had Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. But when you look at what Carmelo did with the Los Angeles Lakers this past season, you got to tip your cap to the guy. Outside of LeBron James when he played, and Malik Monk, Carmelo Anthony was arguably the most consistent and efficient player on the Lakers. I mean, in 26 minutes per night, he averaged 13.5 points per game, had 4 rebounds, shot 44% from the field, and a very nice 37.5% from 3. Carmelo Anthony fit in very well with the Los Angeles Lakers, and I'm just going to come out and say it. I think Carmelo Anthony deserves more credit than he's getting for reinventing himself as a basketball player. If you go back to 2017 and 2018, when he played with the Oklahoma City Thunder, it didn't work out that well for him and the trio of him, Russell Westbrook, and Paul George. Then he went to the Houston Rockets and played for 10 games, and then he was cut by them and wasn't back in the NBA until next season with the Portland Trail Blazers. He went from someone that was an ISO scorer, that didn't really get along with a lot of teammates, according to reports, but he reinvented himself with the Blazers, with the Lakers. He became a knockdown three-point shooter, and he found a way to get back into the NBA. And for a guy at 34 years old, at the tail end of his career, that's been in the NBA since he was 19, that doesn't normally happen. But we all know when Carmelo Anthony was with the New York Knicks, he was arguably a top 5 player in the NBA. I mean, back in 2012 and 2013, he averaged 28.7 points per game, which led the National Basketball Association. I mean, his averages in 412 games with the New York Knicks, some of the best numbers you'll ever see. He averaged 25 and 7, shot 44% from the field, shot 36.9% from three-point range. And even in the playoffs, Carmelo was an effective player as well for the Knicks. He averaged 28 points per game, averaged 7.7 rebounds, shot a little low percentage, 40% from the field, but shot 30% from 3, which is also low. But he did what he had to do with the Knicks. He didn't ultimately get the job done. He didn't bring the chip back. He didn't win the NBA Finals. But at the end of the day, did he really have enough help ever on this roster to get it done for the New York Knicks? Carmelo Anthony, just because of my age, I'm 27 years old, he's my favorite Knick ever. I didn't get to see prime Patrick Ewing. I got Allen Houston and Latrell Sprewell right below him. But Carmelo set the Garden on fire for the first time since those early 2000 teams did with Houston and Sprewell. Carmelo doesn't get the credit he deserves for what he did with the New York Knicks. He made us relevant. They were the 2nd seed in the East at one point. He got us back into the playoffs. He won a playoff series and beat the Boston Celtics. I understand he didn't win a chip, but he never really had the team to do so. So I'll ask you this question. Mark Berman said that the Knicks have talked about re-signing Carmelo Anthony. I think it'd be cool to bring Melo back, but I'm not really sure that it makes all that much sense. I'd like to see him work with young guys like Quentin Grimes, Cam Reddish, and Obi Toppin. So maybe I could convince myself to make it make sense for Melo back in New York. But let me know where you stand in the comment section. I'll be down there reading. So if you got a sales pitch to bring Melo back, convince me. I'll be down there. Type S for sign, or you can go down to the comment section and type P for pass. And look, if the New York Knicks go out and sign Carmelo Anthony, we are going to be breaking it down on this channel. I promise you that. YouTube.com/KnicksTV. Videos all off-season long. We're going to cover the hell out of the draft as well as NBA free agency. And when news and rumors come about surrounding the New York Knicks, We break them down. We make videos for absolutely zero charge. So lock us in. Hit that big red button. We're trying to get to 7,000 subscribers. Let's do it for Melo. 3 to the dome. Go down right now and hit that big red button. Story number 2. Should the Knicks go out and trade for the Oklahoma City guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? This rumor comes from our guys over there at NBA Analysis. They put out an article highlighting a trade idea that would send Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from Oklahoma City to the Mecca of basketball, New York City, in Madison Square Garden. This was the full trade idea. The Knicks, they would receive SGA, but they'd have to give up a sizable package and a couple of players that I don't really want to part with. The Knicks, they would get Shai, but they'd have to give up Derrick Rose, Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish, Obi Toppin, the number 11 overall pick in the 2022 NBA draft, and their next year's first-round pick that is owned, or it will go in the order, by the Dallas Mavericks record. That's the pick that the Knicks got back in the Kristaps Porzingis trade. We're going to continue to break down this trade, and I'll give you my opinion on where I stand on this trade in a second, but I want you Knicks fans to do what you do. Let me know what you think in the comment section right now. Who wins this trade in your opinion? Is it the Knicks because they get the best player in the deal and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Or is it the Oklahoma City Thunder because they get D. Rose, Fournier, Reddish, Obi Toppin, and 2 first-round picks? Let me know. Type NYK if you think the Knicks are the clear winners of this deal, or if you think the Thunders are winners of this deal. Go down and type OKC. I would hate to part with Obi Toppin, as I feel like he's on the cusp and the threshold of reaching the type of player that he can be in the NBA. The way he finished last season, the last couple of games, when he got a chance to start, we saw flashes of the player we thought he could be coming out of Dayton. But I'm sorry, Obi. I love you. I love Sloppy Toppy. I know you love Sloppy Toppy. This would be a steal for the New York Knicks. Getting Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a player that's extremely young, still in the heart, hasn't even reached the heart of the type of player he can be. This is someone that's just 23 years old and averaged 24.5 points per game last year, 6 assists, shot 45% from the field. His three-point percentage was a little bit low. I'd like to see that number get higher. But the way the NBA works right now is you got to have a point guard. You either need to have someone that's an ultimate stopper like Marcus Smart in the Boston Celtics, who's still a big-time player on the offensive end some nights, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander possesses all NBA talent, in my opinion. Everything you want in a point guard. 6'6", can handle, can score at all 3 levels, can get his teammates involved, is a good player on the defensive end as well. I think he would fit very well into this Knicks starting 5. If you had to give up Evan Fournier and Obi Toppin, this is what your starting 5 would look like. You'd have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at your point guard spot. You'd have a 3-and-D guy in Quentin Grimes at the 2. R.J. Barrett at your small forward. Julius Randle at the 4. I'd like to give up Julius Randle on a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander trade, but this wasn't my trade idea. Then you go out and you re-sign Mitchell Robinson and NBA free agency. This is a team with a lot of young guys. SGA, R.J. Barrett. You also have Quentin Grimes, Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle. As much as I don't like Julius, that's a team that can compete in the Eastern Conference for a very long time. I feel like SGA and RJ Barrett would be a great backcourt duo. They could play on ball as well as they can play off ball, and I feel like they would work well together and help each other reach the maximum potential that each player possesses. I'm a big fan of SGA. I'd hate to trade Obi Toppin. I wouldn't like dealing Cam Reddish, and I wouldn't want to give up 2 future first-round picks. But sometimes in life, you got to spend money to make money, and getting SGA in this trade would be a big move for the New York Knicks. Maybe you want to answer this question with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Maybe you want Donovan Mitchell. Maybe you want De'Aaron Fox or Colin Sexton or DeJounte Murray or all the point guards that we've talked about on this show before. But answer this question for me right now before we get out of here on today's show. Who do you want to be the Knicks starting point guard next season? Let me know in the comment section right now. I appreciate everybody that's made New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports a part of your day. You're a real one. If you haven't yet, show me some love and give me a follow over on Twitter. I'm starting to tweet more and more about the Knicks as we're entering the NBA offseason, so stay up to date with Knicks news and rumors over on Twitter by giving me a follow at @MarshallGreen_.